Okay guys, in this video we're just going to be comparing three different cameras. Those cameras are going to be the Canon R8, the Sony ZV-E10 and the Sony a7 IV. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so like we just mentioned, we are going to be reviewing three different cameras in this video. Now those cameras are going to be the Canon R8, the Sony a7 IV and the Sony ZV-E10. Now we're going to be comparing them in a few different categories to find out which one comes out on top. So let's start with the Canon R8. So why would you pick the Canon R8 over the other two? Well, to start off with, it has more focus points, coming in at 1053 focus points. Now, the more focus points, the more flexibility in picking which part of the scene to focus on. They also give the image sensor a better probability in identifying the right area for the scene to focus on in more automatic modes. So that's really important there. Another thing that I like about the R8 is that it has first-party support for live streaming. So a camera that supports live streaming can be used to broadcast video to certain platforms such as YouTube via a first-party app. So if you are somebody with a YouTube channel, the R8 again might be the way to go here. Now let's move on to the Sony a7 IV. Okay, so why would you choose the Sony a7 IV over the other two? Well, to start with, it has more megapixels in the camera, coming in at 33 megapixels, and that is compared to the 24.2 megapixels of the other two. Now, another thing that I like about this camera here is that it has a good battery. The best battery out of all three, in fact, coming in at 2280 milliamps per hour, which is really good, and it's something to take note of, especially if you're on longer shoots. So that battery may be really important for you there. Now, another thing that I like about this camera is its movie bitrate, coming in at 600 Mbps. Now, the higher the movie recording bitrate, the better the movie quality, with more and crisper details and less compression artifacts. So I think if you're someone who's more of a videographer rather than a photographer, the Sony a7 IV might just be the way to go here. Now let's move on to the Sony ZV-E10. Now I know what you're thinking, how can the Sony ZV-E10 possibly compete with the other two? Well, it does so in a few categories, and one in particular. But let's start with the continuous shooting at highest resolution, coming in at 11 frames per second there. Now, out of all three of them, this is the lightest model, only coming in at 343 grams. But I think the area that it really stands out is how much bang for your buck you are getting with this particular camera. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's marketed more towards beginners and people who are just getting into this field and this world. So if you have just started a YouTube channel and you want a very good camera, the Sony ZV-E10 is definitely the way to go. But all three of these devices and cameras are absolutely fantastic. It's just going to come down to your personal preference as to which one you go for, but they're all brilliant.